10 a.m. on a Wednesday. A message pops up on your phone screen. Your portfolio value is now $40 million. You lock your phone and slip it into your pocket. You're standing in line at a coffee shop. You're wearing a plain, ordinary hoodie. There's a guy standing right in front of you. He has a shiny new Rolex on his wrist. He's flashing it around on purpose for everyone to see. And you're just standing quietly behind him, waiting for your $5 coffee. It's your turn. You pull out a beat-up debit card from your pocket. The cashier swipes it without a second thought. They have absolutely no idea about the real power of this card. This card is directly linked to a secret holding company. Your family thinks you live a very ordinary life. Your friends give you advice on how to save money. You just smile at them and quietly listen to what they have to say. Nobody ever comes to you asking for a loan. Everyone thinks you're just an average guy like them. But are you ready for what's coming up next in this video? How a fake lawsuit almost destroyed your $40 million? Why you couldn't just give money to your own sister during her worst crisis? And how an anonymous trust legally keeps you completely safe and off the grid? All of this started with a single decision you made when you were 27. You were only 27 years old back then. You lived in a tiny apartment in Ohio. The heater would often break down on winter nights. Freezing cold air would leak into the room. You had barely $1,200 left in your bank account. One morning, your phone screen cracked. You didn't have the cash to go buy a new one. You walked into a local electronics repair shop. There was a box sitting there filled with old iPhones. The clerk said they were broken iPhone X's. He asked for just $20 a piece. You spent your last bit of savings and bought 10 of them. You got back to your room and laid the cracked phones on the table. You gently popped off the back glass with a screwdriver, cleaned out all the dust built up inside, watched some YouTube tutorials, and swapped out the broken screens and batteries. 4 hours later, the phone booted up and the screen lit up brightly. Your fingertips were literally shaking with excitement. You realized there was a massive opportunity hidden inside these broken phones. You fixed all 10 of them. You listed them on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. In just 3 days, every single one sold. You now had $3,000 cash in your pocket. The smell of those crisp bills gave you a strange surge of confidence. You decided to quit your job. For the next year, this was all you did. You bought thousands of broken phones and laptops for cheap, fixed them up, and flipped them back on the market. Your tiny room turned into a literal tech warehouse. The constant humming of laptop fans kept you up at night. But your bank balance had just crossed $100,000. Right around then, you met a lawyer named Robert. He was looking over your tax returns. He looked at you and said, "You're a fool if you're doing business under your own name. The wealthy in America never own anything in their own names." He told you to spend $100 and open a secret company. A company where your name wouldn't even exist on the ownership papers. You listened to Robert. You set up an anonymous LLC. Just a few months later, the first massive deposit hit that secret company account. This probably sounds great to you right now, but a terrifying threat was heading straight for you. $80,000 had just landed in your secret company account. Seeing that number on the screen sent a slight shiver down your chest. You sat down with Robert at a small coffee shop in Woodstock. The bitter smell of coffee and the clinking of spoons filled the air. Robert placed the heavy navy blue folder on the table. He opened it and slid a piece of paper towards you. Printed on the top was the name of an anonymous trust. Robert said, "From now on, none of your LLCs will belong directly to you. This trust will be the mastermind behind all your companies." You picked up the pen. The cold, smooth metal felt solid in your fingers. You signed the paper. From that exact second, legally, you became a ghost to the world. For the next 3 years, you worked like a madman. Your mornings started with a mug of strong black coffee, and your nights ended staring at a laptop screen with burning, exhausted eyes. You bought a bunch of cheap commercial properties in Ohio and Pennsylvania. Properties that were strictly owned on paper by this anonymous trust. Thousands of dollars in rental income started pouring into your accounts every single month. You'd watch the digits in your bank account climb higher and higher on the screen. But your lifestyle didn't change one bit. You still wore that same old denim jacket. The familiar smell of cheap laundry detergent brought you comfort. You created a total of 11 different LLCs under your trust. Every single company had a completely different purpose. None of your bankers or accountants even knew each other. They all worked for you from entirely different cities. They just knew they were working for a mystery client. Your portfolio value was skyrocketing by the minute. You were now quietly controlling a multi-million-dollar empire, while everyone around you thought you were just an average guy. A deep sense of loneliness was growing inside you. You couldn't share this massive success with anyone. You couldn't even share the joy with your own family. Honestly, you didn't even want to. One morning, there was a heavy knock on your office door. You opened it and a stranger handed you a legal notice. Seeing the dollar amount printed on that notice made a cold sweat break out on your forehead. At the top of that legal notice was the name Osei. Osei was your former partner back in your early real estate days. He somehow found out that you'd been secretly buying up properties. He figured you were now sitting on millions of dollars. Driven by greed, he slapped you with a $300,000 fake lawsuit. Your palms were sweating and shaking with panic. You set the notice on your desk and took a deep breath. The very next day, you showed up to your attorney, Dennis's office. A gentle, cool breeze was blowing from the office AC. The room smelled like expensive leather couches and fresh coffee. Dennis read the notice and let out a big grin. He adjusted his glasses on his nose and looked right at you. He said, Osei and his lawyers just made a massive mistake. They assumed you directly owned all these properties. Dennis started typing rapidly on his laptop keyboard. The clacking of the keys echoed through the whole room. He sent your official tax returns and personal files over to Osei's lawyers. Those files proved that, on paper, you owned absolutely nothing. Your personal checking account had a balance of barely $7,800, and the only thing registered in your name was a cheap old sedan. When Osei's lawyers saw these documents, they completely lost their minds. They scrubbed through every public record in Ohio and Pennsylvania, but they couldn't find a single link tying your name to those 11 LLCs and the anonymous trust. Legally, you were just a broke middle-class citizen. If this went to court, Osei would burn through thousands in legal fees for absolutely nothing, because you had zero personal assets for them to seize. Finally, just 2 weeks later, Dennis got a text message. Osei's lawyers agreed to settle the case out of court for a mere $15,000. You signed a liquid check for $15,000 right there on Dennis's desk. A flawless, anonymous structure just saved you from a $300,000 nightmare. You leaned back in your office chair and let out a huge sigh of relief. But now, you were about to face an ultimate test right in front of your own family. One night, your phone started ringing. Your own sister's name flashed on the screen. The sound of her sobbing on the other end shook you to your core. Your sister's name is Renata. She works as a registered nurse, working night shifts at a public hospital in Seattle. She recently went through a tough divorce. Hearing her voice, you instantly knew something was terribly wrong. Through her tears, she told you her credit card bills had piled up into a mountain of debt. She was drowning in $23,000 of debt. Debt collectors were calling and threatening her every single day. If she didn't pay up by tomorrow, they were going to repossess her car. And without her car, there was no way she could commute to the hospital in the freezing snow. Hearing her sound so helpless completely crushed your heart. Your secret trust account had $40 million sitting right in it. You could wire her $23,000 in a fraction of a second. To you, that amount of money was just a drop in the ocean. But even if you wanted to, you couldn't. Because you knew the second she found out you had this kind of wealth, your perfectly quiet, secret life would be out in the public. Your family would start looking at you completely differently. The pure bond between a brother and sister might be ruined forever because of money. So you swallowed hard and choked back your emotions. You told her to calm down. You promised her you'd come over to her apartment on Saturday morning. But before we head to Renata's apartment on Saturday morning, I have a quick question for you. What state in the US or what country are you watching this video from? Pause the video right now and let me know down in the comments. I'll be taking screenshots and highlighting your comments in my next video. Saturday morning, you showed up at Renata's small apartment. The Seattle weather was freezing and completely covered in fog. The whole apartment smelled damp and stuffy. The smell of burnt, cheap coffee hit your nose. Credit card bills and past due notices were scattered all over the dining table. Renata's eyes were bloodshot from sleep deprivation. You sat down next to her on an old wooden chair. You pulled a Euro highlighter out of your pocket and started reviewing every single bill line by line. The only sound in the room was the scratching of the highlighter against the paper. After 3 straight hours of running the numbers, you found a massive error. An old hospital bill had overcharged her by $4,100. You immediately called their customer service. You spoke to the rep in a firm voice and cited the legal codes. They admitted the mistake and instantly waived that $4,000. Then you mapped out a really solid payment plan for the rest of her debt. But even after all that, she was still short about $8,000 for the immediate emergency. You reached into your jacket pocket and pulled out your personal checkbook, the one tied to the account where you keep a tiny bit of savings from your paycheck. You wrote a check for $8,000 and handed it to Renata. When you handed it to her, you told her a flat-out lie. You told her you borrowed this money from a friend. Taking that money, Renata hugged you tight and completely broke down crying. You could feel her warm tears falling on your neck. You just kept rubbing her back. Your own flesh and blood thought you just went into debt to save her, when in reality, you were legally sitting on $40 million. You were incredibly successful, but your success had absolutely no audience. Anyway, in just a little while, a very specific email was about to hit your phone. Later that afternoon, you walked into a local hardware store. The store smelled like fresh-cut lumber and cold metal. The big fluorescent lights above were giving off a faint buzzing sound. The pipe under your apartment bathroom sink was leaking. You were looking for a tiny plastic PVC fitting that cost exactly $6.20. There was a guy right next to you. He was on the phone angrily arguing with his wife about buying a $10 wrench. Right at that exact moment, the phone in your jacket pocket vibrated. You pulled it out and glanced at the screen. It was an email from the head accountant of your anonymous trust. The subject line read, "Final financial report for the month." You opened the email. A bold green figure flashed right in front of your eyes. Your total portfolio value was now exactly $40 million. You stared at the screen and let out a deep breath. Then you locked your phone and calmly slid it back into your pocket. The guy next to you was still screaming on the phone. He had no idea that the guy in the plain hoodie standing right beside him could buy this entire hardware store in cash. But you wouldn't do that. You're just going to walk up to the register, pay $6.20 for that pipe, then get back into your old sedan and drive back to your quiet, peaceful life. Because by now, you know perfectly well that being truly wealthy isn't about showing off. True freedom isn't about driving luxury cars or wearing a flashy Rolex. True freedom is being completely invisible right in front of everyone's eyes. Nobody knows who you really are. On paper, you don't even exist. And that is the greatest, most expensive piece you could ever have in life.